Hello everybody, Mark here again with my OregonBladeMaker grinder, and I still haven't got the motor hooked up. It's just sitting back there. I did get it hooked up to the VFD, so it's working, but I'm here to talk about this new Pro tool rest that OregonBladeMaker is now offering on his eBay store. So told him I would check this thing out, and I bought one from him, and here it is. So basically, this threaded nut here, it's a long threaded nut, threads on this, and it clamps this on this ball, so you can basically adjust this tool rest at pretty much any compound angle you'd probably want. I think it's a pretty slick little design. I'm not sure if he got it from somewhere else. I've seen similar things in totally different products, but I think this is a pretty cool application of that ball joint. So I think it's a pretty cool tool. One thing, okay, I'm going to start pointing out things that I would probably change if I were the designer, because I actually am a mechanical and structural designer. I design things in SolidWorks and AutoCAD. So for me, having this tool rest below is kind of nice because you have more work area up here. But I'm going to mount this on its own toolbar, so it's probably going to be down even lower. So that way I can have this on and off quickly, not have to worry about unfastening things when I want to put the tool rest on or take it off. So with that said, I'm not sure I would have such a drop on this. I may have it at more of a neutral location, but you know, that's, you know, he may have designed it a certain way and not thought about other applications or uses of it. One thing I will say is, for me, it naturally was, you know, my first instinct was to take this, set it on top, and try to fasten it through here. But when I did that, it put the tool rest so far forward that this plating in its flat position wouldn't be anywhere, the work plate, I'm sorry, wouldn't be anywhere near the plating. So that really wouldn't work for me, you know, if I'm trying to get up here and grind something and hold it steady on my tool rest. So if you mount it underneath your toolbar here, you can get it up pretty close, and then, you know, you can just loosen this up, and this has a slot in the bottom, which I'm not sure if you can see or not. I'm sorry, I've only got my cell phone to take videos with, but under here it's slotted, and this thing will slide back and forth. So here you go. There's the slot. So I slid it out. So if you need to, bear with me, whoop, tilt this forward closer to your plating, you'll have to move the tool rest out. So it's got a big long slot, so that it gives you ample adjustment space. So that's pretty good design. Hang on a second while I flatten this out. Alright, I got the tool rest locked back down again. And so another thing I would probably change design-wise is, okay, this operates, and there's a little pivot here, and it's pinned and welded here on both sides. So from here, this pivots as you tighten this thread to lock down this ball. So it seems like it's got, I mean, yeah, I just moved it, but I didn't really tighten this that tight. But also, I think if I start tightening this too tight, this little pin, which looks like it's maybe 1/8 of an inch, may not be strong enough once you start putting some force down on this nut to lock this in. So this may or may not be stable. I'm going to have to work on it, you know, and so for knives, light things like that, it's probably not going to matter. Now, if you're running some kind of knife jig on that, and that knife jig is fairly heavy, that may have an effect on the tool rest here. So that may be a consideration if you're thinking about buying this thing. So the components, the top plate, this rod, this ball are steel. It looks like it has brass collars in there that lock on either side of the ball. So that's good. That one metal, they're dissimilar metals. One's softer, so they will compress, and one will form to the other and give it a good grip on it. So one of the things I noticed that I would probably change design-wise is all this extra sticking off here. Doesn't really need to be there. For me, if I'm working on a knife, I may want to get in pretty close and lock my arms in close to my body so that I can limit my range of motion and try to hold my angle very precise. So for me, I would like to see this bar shortened and maybe take one of these little knobs that mounts onto a bolt, but maybe weld a nut into it or something, or maybe just get a commercial off-the-shelf knob and put right there. And also probably be a good idea to have some kind of bearing surface there, so maybe just a little flat washer or something, so you're not scraping directly into your coating, because I foresee that coating getting scraped right off, so I'll probably have to scrounge around here and find me a washer to put between there. And that may affect the lockup too. I'm not sure. I doubt it will, but so overall, this looks like a really snazzy design. I like it. I think it's going to come in handy more for profiling my handles. If I want to do like a hexagonal shape on a handle instead of rounded, like I've seen some of the Japanese chef knives and things like that tend to have some of those handle profiles, I think this might be pretty handy. You can get those magnetic protractors and probably adjust this plate and get the angles you want, and then you should be able to hold them from, you know, each side or each corner of your handle, and you can profile that handle and get a pretty accurate grind on those, and be able to do it fairly simple with this little tool rest that can, you know, adjust to all those different compound angles you may or may never even need. I think this gives you a lot of flexibility. So, but as it is now, I don't like it attaching directly to the one bar that comes with it. So if I were you, I would buy some other bars from him, or do like I did. I just bought some bar stock because I was able to buy it cheaper than buying the tool rest from him at my local supplier. And it'll give me a little project to use my new Porter cable drill press on. So I'll drill these out and get them tapped so I can mount that tool rest. I'm going to build another bar that will hold my 10-inch grizzly wheel that I have here that I need to find somebody to machine some bearing pockets in it. And then I'm going to make just a regular flat, simple tool rest that'll probably just bolt on right here. Or actually, I got enough bar stock that I'll probably just make it its own little tool, so I can just slide it right into the second receptacle here, and then I'll have my flat one that I don't have to worry about getting a protractor and worry about getting it flat. But ideally for blades, I'm going to try to learn to do it freehand. From what I've read and from what I've gathered, you know, it's a lot of people say it's better to just learn how to freehand than to use the jigs. Some people can do it, some people can't. I think it's just one of those things. You have to spend the time and learn it, and it may come quick or it may come slow, but if you never put the time in learning it, you're just not going to learn it. So you're always going to have to use, you know, a device to do that. But I think there's nothing wrong with using a jig. I mean, you're using a tool to do a job. You know, just like you're using this grinder instead of a set of files. So, you know, there's nothing wrong with it. And, you know, depending on how well my grinds come out, I may be using jigs too. So, you know, like I said, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm just going to try to learn freehand first. That's going to be my starting philosophy. But this tool rest came well packaged. It came in, I think, one of the medium-sized U.S. Postal Express boxes, or priority mail boxes, I'm sorry. And it was wrapped very well in bubble wrap. And like this is kind of a sharp edge, and you know, this plate is pretty thin, and that could have easily been, you know, moved around in transit and been poking through the box, but it wasn't, because he did a good job packaging that for shipping. Just like this grinder here, he did a very good job in packaging that. It was shipped out promptly. I got my tracking number. So, you know, this guy seems to be making some decent products here. I can't wait to get it up and running, and I'll make some videos as I progress with that. I've been sick, so I haven't had a chance to really get out here and work on it much. But my sinus crud's going away, and I should be out here this week. Once kids go back to school from spring break, I'll get this thing running. I have some more videos for you then, and I will try to figure out some way to hopefully either get a camera guy to hold my phone or get some kind of other video camera, which we don't really have. So maybe I'll find some kind of holder for my phone here, so at least I could have my phone steady. So, well, that's my little quick review, my initial review for this tool rest. And can't wait to try it out. And I think it's going to be really handy, you know, with some of the ideas I have for profiling some handles and work like that. I think it's going to be pretty cool. That's why I decided to go ahead and spend the money on it. Plus, I mean, you know, I like to support small businesses. That's kind of what I'm starting here myself. And being a designer also, I thought it was pretty interesting from a design perspective. So I'm going to share this video with him, give him my feedback about maybe shortening this, putting a knob on here. That way, if you're working up close here, you're not having this small little nut poke you in the belly. So we will we'll see how it goes, and check back later, and I'll have some more videos.